We're also joined by Puneet Ahluwalia. He's a candidate for Lieutenant Governor in Virginia. He is a Republican leader. Thanks very much for being with us. I must ask you this question. It's actually coming from one of our viewers. Why is the US system so complicated? Why can't they have electronic voting machines and VVPAT systems? That's what we have in India, where you get a paper trail of who you voted for. Isn't that very much something that you'd be also wondering about? Does it necessarily have to be so complicated when technology is available?
Well, I think that's the reason we need more H-1B visas to come in and help us solve with that issue. So I would say, no, you see what it is democracy is not perfect. And there is ways of achieving this through technology. And by all means, you try to reach a perfection, but you can't. So I think it's a system that needs to come from the dark ages into the new technology age. And I think we have to, by screaming and dragging with both sides kind of looking that there's no fraud, there's no abuse, an equal amount of transparency that exists and should exist, because we want to make sure there's election integrity, which should not be compromised at any point. So that's the reason why there's a tussle that always goes on. And that's the reason why all these races come so close. And with this mail-in ballots, you can see most of the Democrats have done what they've done is they mail their ballots in, and we Republicans tend to go and vote in person, as President Trump has been beckoning all the people. So
therefore, would you be in trouble? Would you potentially be in trouble in say, Pennsylvania, where, 2 million odd mail-in ballots need to be counted?
Well, we'll be only in trouble when the Democrats will try to do cheating, which we are concerned about because there's been plenty of instances where there have been mail-in frauds. And yes, it's a matter of concern. And that's the reason why I think there was a reason why Vice President Biden came out and made that speech, because otherwise usually there's no reason for him to come out and speak. Either he concedes or he says, I won. But in this speech, what he tried to do was to tell his people to get ready to be ready for rioting and looting.
If you look at what he said it's not for Donald Trump or for me to call the elections, right? I think that's a sensible statement.
Well, he's trying to play chess. The Democrats are very well known for lip service with no substance. And what he's trying to do is that for some odd reason, if President Trump does come ahead, he's telling his people who are the Antifa, who are the ones outside White House in Democratic states, like where you see the voting going on in New York, in Beverly Hills, and in D.C., these are all blue states. These are all Democratic control. So they're going to create all the rioting and looting, which they're going to do anyway.
No, but I think each side is accusing the other of potentially, getting into violence. But as far as you are concerned,
I don't see white supremacists leading their charge in these Democratic control
no, but
states.
Mr. Ahluwalia, as far as you're concerned, have you won the election? Is it a done deal for you?
Well, no, not yet. We are. It's a close election. I think we are. It depends. It all matters. All votes are counted till the last vote is counted, and most importantly, the election integrity of all Americans who have voted properly and ethically should be counted and given the due regard. And then if we lose, we lose.
Right. And so which swing states...
And also if we win, we win.
Amitoj had a question. Yeah, go ahead, Amitoj.
Sorry, Mr. Ahluwalia, say you've not won, but why has Donald Trump declared victory by saying on Twitter, a big win?
Well, I've been touring the state. I'm sorry. I just drove in about 1 second ago and got on the phone. I have not seen his tweet, and
his
if my
tweet has
president
been restricted
feels
by Twitter, right? Amitoj,
yes.
His tweet has been restricted.
Absolutely, but no, you can see it. You can actually go ahead and see it. They're just putting a warning sign. Twitter has been doing this for a while with Donald Trump, and so has Facebook being forced to jump into the bandwagon. So I'm sorry, there is no question that he tweeted this. He has tweeted this. So my question to you is, why do you think he's tweeting this?
Well, the reason is for the last 1 hour I've been in the car because I went from my 10th district to the 5th district to the 7th district. My friend Nick Freitas, who's running for Congress, which is still not being called out, even though he's almost 20 points ahead. I have not seen the tweet, so I can't speak very intelligently on that.
But then let me tell you about the tweet, and let me get a reaction. Because, behind the tweet, it says, Twitter says some or all of the content shared in this tweet is disputed and might be misleading about how to participate in an election or another civic process. Be that as it may, the tweet is this: we are up big, but they are trying to steal the election. We will never let them do it. Votes cannot be cast after polls are closed. But there's already been a process in court through which mail-in ballots can be counted for up to 6 days after polls close. So why question the obvious?
After
Well,
that,
the thing is,
tweet saying, "I will be making a statement tonight, a big win, a big win."
Yeah, that's
and
his
win in
previous. That's
capital.
his previous. That's his previous statement. But Mr. Ahluwalia, go ahead with what I asked you.
what I will be very specific is that when our folks are sitting in the war room looking at every district, every county which has voted, and we have a very good understanding on that. We're not that backward in technology, but we have not perfected it to the level we should have. And hence the reason I believe President Trump feels very strong that we are almost there for a win. And that's been the biggest concern which we have had always is the mail-in ballots. And I have kind of cited the example before. There was a successful congressional lady of Korean background who won her election in California. She came for her orientation in Washington, D.C. And after her orientation, when she went back, they found about a few thousand lost mail-in ballots, which came, and she was basically lost her chance to be a congresswoman, which she was duly elected. So it's very disappointing and it's very disheartening when the election integrity is compromised by the Democratic shenanigans. So that's where President Trump is coming from.
Vishnu, may I ask Mr. Ahluwalia a question, please? A couple of questions.
Yeah, go ahead, Dora,
Mr. Ahluwalia, you said you were in the car when this tweet was announced. Mr. Mitch McConnell is never around when the president tweets. John Cornyn is never around. No Republican seems to be around when the president tweets. You all seem to be in your car, in the toilet, on your way out. And the second question, it used to, there's a lot of mail tweeting. The president appointed a commission headed by Chris Kobach, who's now running for senator from Kansas. He spent 6 months and taxpayer money trying to find out, and the commission was disbanded. Why was it disbanded if there's all Democrats are doing all these things? I'd like to understand that.
Well, I am not aware of President Trump's private moving schedule, and I don't think Mitch McConnell has the time to do that. So I think it's a very stupid question on your part.
He has the time to look at a tweet. He's a senator.
Yeah, no,
he should look at a tweet.
Well, he has better things to do, unlike being debating on a foolish question with you on the television. So I think that's a ridiculous question, and I
don't think it's ridiculous at all. I think it's relevant. Why don't you just answer the question?
Well, the reason is, why should I answer a question? But why should Mitch McConnell be looking at President Trump's tweet? They're both successful individuals who are leading the country, and they have bigger, important things to do than looking at each other's tweets. That's very childish.
All right. How would you, Mr. Ahluwalia, account for what we are now seeing? Fox is showing Biden widening his lead, 238 to 213. Biden also about 1.8 million ahead in votes. So again, it's a changing process, right?
Can you repeat the question? I'm sorry.
So Fox is now showing Biden widening his lead, 238 to 213. Biden also about 1.8 million ahead in terms of votes. Are we seeing a change?
Well, again, as you know very well, that it's very hard to call an election till you have all the votes counted, as I said earlier. Pennsylvania's verdict is still out. Wisconsin, Michigan verdict is still out. Until we don't have those important play states or battleground states verdict, we really can't call the election. And hence the reason, if there are some internal polls or internal numbers, which I have not had a chance to look at, and again, you know, I'm not watching it that closely, because when you know that it's still there are a lot of mail-in ballots to come in, and I think most likely by Saturday we'll have a very clear picture. And if we have done, or the attorneys who are hired by the campaigns to look at these and scrutinize these votes which have come in, or the ballots which have come in, they feel confident they can call the election, then I'll go with that decision of the elected president of our country.
All right.